Hi, I'm Yes for No, and today I'm going to share with you all the literary tools I've picked up over my years of writing essays. You might want to grab a pencil and some popcorn, because this is going to be long. Alright, so I want to begin by talking about the title and the first sentence of your essay. Before anything else, like literally before anything else, you need to make sure your first sentence and your title are not generic. They need to be eye-catching and make the audience want to read more. Because if you can make these parts good, then you'll already have the reader on your side rooting for you before they've read a single other word of the essay. Just think, if the title is the clickbait of your essay, then your first sentence is like your essay reaching out its hand to the reader and saying, "Hi, I'm what you're gonna be dealing with for the next couple paragraphs." So don't have a sissy handshake. Don't have a sissy essay. Okay, so after you've established that your essay is in fact totally cool and worth reading, then you have to worry about the other words in it. So my next tip is expand your vernacular, aka grow your geek speak, aka learn some new words and use them creatively. So one really easy way to stop sounding generic is to avoid starting your sentences with common words like I or however or although, you know? Try something different instead. Like for example, okay, inches from the ground, Tommy's nose was about to communicate to his body that this was the day they'd get their lunch money stolen. Right? Like inches isn't even a complicated word, but by starting the sentence with something different, it gives that phrase an artistic flair. But here's the catch. In your quest to sound artistic, you don't want to overuse these $100 words. You know, you don't want to use big words that you don't know how to use. Because when you do that, you end up sounding like someone who uses big words just to try and sound smart. And that's transparent. You need to learn how to use everything in moderation. All right, the next thing I'm gonna throw at you is a formulaic structure for how to write your essay. Now this is like the training wheels of essay writing, meaning when you learn how to write like a big boy, you can discard it. Until then, it's incredibly useful, so let's go. So the perfect formula for an academic essay, don't worry, we'll get to creative essays soon enough. The perfect formula for an academic essay is 4 to 5 paragraphs composed of 1 intro paragraph, 2 to 3 body paragraphs, and then 1 conclusion paragraph, also known as the concluding paragraph. Boop, 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 boop. This little piggy went home to write an essay. Now bear with me because this gets a little bit detailed. Your intro paragraph should be used to introduce some kind of question you want your essay to answer. And then your body paragraphs should be used to develop some line of reasoning to discover the answer to that question. And then your concluding paragraph should be used to summarize everything you've already said, answer the question, and then either 1, open up a new question to the world, or 2, tie a nice pretty little bow on the end of your essay that ties everything together. Now if you're in America, you might be freaking out, because I haven't mentioned the word thesis once. Don't fret. Thesis is just a fancy way to say, this is the answer to my question. If you need to present a thesis in your essay, this is the structure you'll use. Use the intro to present the thesis, use the body paragraphs to develop an argument for that thesis, and use the concluding paragraph to restate that thesis in different words. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But just in case this wasn't all easy peasy lemon squeezy, I will include a link down in the description that goes into more detail about how to write the perfect academic essay. And I'll give you some more advice. Alright, there are a few things you need to remember when writing an academic essay. 1, each paragraph should have its own unique point. It's its own unique special snowflake. Additionally, every sentence should have a purpose. If it doesn't, delete it. Next, when presenting body paragraphs, you always start with your strongest argument and end with your weakest one. And lastly, every transition should be fluid. The last sentence of a paragraph should always have a hook to the first sentence of the following paragraph, and vice versa. Okay, now I'm just gonna throw a little bit of miscellaneous advice toward you guys. And this one is what I call, use your weaknesses to show your strengths! Use your weaknesses to show your strengths means that you should consider adding a counter argument to your essay. When you use a counterargument, it does two things. One, it shows that you're intelligent enough to understand that there's another side to the issue. And two, it gives you an opportunity to tear that counter-argument apart with logic and make your point seem even more legitimate. Fun fact, the best place to put a counter-argument is usually in that third body paragraph. It just is. Okay. Finally getting to you creative essay writers. Now, creative essay writers, you still have to use a lot of these elements I've already listed, but you have a lot more freedom over where to use them. So, luckily or unluckily, no training wheels for you. Yeah, you're just gonna have to roll with it. So one thing that does stay consistent between creative essays and academic essays is that there's still an idea that needs to be developed throughout the course of the essay and needs to be resolved at the end somehow. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to include down in the description below a link to one of my successful Harvard application essays and also an outline describing how I used each paragraph to advance an idea. So it won't give you a formula, but it'll give you a sense of what needs to be done. And I'm telling you, if seeing dead people is the sixth sense, then seeing how to write a good essay is the seventh. After you do it enough times, you'll start to sense how it's done, even if you can't fully articulate it. Ooh, which leads me perfectly into my next point. Practice makes perfect. Ooh! I cannot stress this enough. Practice makes perfect. When you're trying to go from training wheels to woo! Look, man, no hands! Practice is the only thing standing between the two. So I would encourage you to get as much writing under your belt as you can. Join the school newspaper, write creative content for the internet, etc., etc. Because by doing something 1,000,000th times, you'll finally learn the nuances of it. And no amount of money, no amount of talent, no amount of watching YouTube videos will ever teach you as much as practice will. Okay, and at this point, I know you guys might be like, we want cold, hard techniques. You want a tip that always works? Make sure your grammar and vocab is 100% correct. You make one spelling or grammar mistake, and it will undermine your entire essay. So take the 30 seconds to invest in a Google search and learn the vocab and sentence structures that you don't understand fully. Trust me, the there, and there's of the world will thank you, as will your essay reader. Alright, and maybe all my advice was fine and dandy, for like 90% of situations, but sometimes you're just looking at a blank Word document and you're too petrified to even start. And I get it. Essays are like the basilisks of real life. You can't look them nigh or they'll kill you. So sometimes you gotta use a different approach. Now, a lot of people would advise to you to just word vomit all over your blank page. I think that's 1, gross, and 2, disgusting. Instead, what I would advise you to do is write an outline. An outline is great because it gives you a place to just write all your main ideas in a crude and ugly fashion. And after you've come up with your main ideas, the only thing left is figuring out how to creatively link them. I mean, creativity and main ideas are like talking on a cell phone and trying to cut a steak. Sure, they can be done at the same time, but when you separate them, both activities become much easier. Alright, last but holy cow, not least, read the requirements for the essay and follow them. Otherwise, you could end up writing the completely perfect essay on a completely wrong topic. I'm Yes for No, and don't end up with a 0. Bye.